We're live.
Oh, we're live. Okay. I was looking for a little spinner.
It was there.
It quit, and I wasn't watching it.
It was fast.
It was like
fast.
this month, February the 8th, already at 8 o'clock on a Saturday morning here in Alabama. It's still warm, y'all. It's so humid outside. I went out and fed and got back home.
It's bad.
I was wearing a long sleeve shirt, and I immediately had to swap to my Hogs and Kisses, which is short sleeve, because it's just that warm here where we are.
I wonder what the dew point is.
I don't know, but I know that there's a lot of cold weather out there. So I'm thankful that we are having this humid weather versus what some of you guys are dealing with. Oh, goodness. It's just incredibly sticky.
It's terrible.
I mean, I was wet from coming back in.
Yesterday I almost had to put shorts on and cut the air conditioning on yesterday. I was this close from doing it.
Yes, it got a little bit warm.
Yeah.
And I'm a little bit warm right now. I'm still kind of sweaty and sticky, but I am drinking coffee, which is going to make it even worse. So if y'all start seeing me with some literally sweat rolling down me, just ignore it. We'll be all right. We're going to make it through.
It's rough. We went to Pedals from the Past yesterday, and before we left, I had my boots on, my regular, they kind of like my work boots, like cowboy boots, my brown boots, and they was hot. I had to put my little low work shoes on.
Well, before we left, I mean, we knew we were going to Pedals, and I had a long sleeve shirt on, kind of like yours.
Mm-hmm.
My sleeves were rolled up, and I thought about changing to a short sleeve. And I said, you know what? It seems like every time we go to Pedals from the Past, the temperature is like 10 degrees cooler there than it is at home. So I decided I was going to leave my long sleeves on, and I shouldn't have, because it was just as warm there as it was at home.
It's warm. It was warm.
You know, you plant in the cooler months. February is supposed to be a cooler month.
Yeah.
So we want to finish up our planning before actual warm temperatures get here. I'm going to tell you, it doesn't feel like we ought to be planting right now.
It's hot.
It feels like things ought to be blooming, and they actually are.
Yeah.
Things are starting to bud out that shouldn't be.
We got daffodils blooming.
Well, they're supposed to be, but I'm talking about like
still a little early for daffodils to be in full bloom.
Well, they're not in full bloom, but some of the early.
I saw some yellow.
That's the early ones.
Okay.
The little tiny ones. Those are the first ones, and then they, in sequence. But our foliage is up good.
It's just odd to see, to me, daffodils in the first week of February.
It probably is a little bit early. I shouldn't have said it's not early, but February is a daffodil blooming month. I'll tell y'all, it is I'm not complaining. I'm just letting y'all know how warm it is. Oh, goodness.
It's crazy.
So calendars are sold out.
Yes.
And also we had a set with 2 coffees and a mug. I believe that's what it was. It's sold out. We have a few left of the singles, which is a mug and a single little small can. I talked to her this morning.
Okay.
And then now we're offering the mugs by themselves. And it's this mug, which is 14 ounces. And here's what I like about the mug. I would not have brought this upstairs to drink out of it had it not had this. And I've never seen this, Jason. You didn't know it, so you better pay attention.
2 mugs, 1 coffee.
That's sold out. The single one is not sold out. This is what's so cool about this mug. It's got this little lid on it. I could not have brought it upstairs because my cup was...
You would have spilled it everywhere.
My cup was runneth over. But yeah, I'd have spilled it. So this is nice. And it's being offered by itself now since those other things are not available.
It's Gus and Loretta, the honeymoon.
He almost told y'all it was Matilda.
Matilda and Mildred.
That is
incorrect.
That is not happening.
That's not happening.
No.
That is not happening at all.
So Jacqueline told me to tell y'all that this morning, and I went ahead and got that out of the way so I wouldn't forget about it. Because I have a tendency to do that. There's a lot of times when we end a live and I think, I was supposed to say such and such.
I know. I wrote it down this time. Somebody want to know, is it lightweight?
Oh, it's lightweight and it has a quart bottom.
It comes off too. The bottom.
Oh, does it?
Don't make spill it.
Yeah. Well, I got my lid on this.
Yeah.
What's the cork bottom come off for?
I think to clean it. I don't know. But
Well,
I
I
saw
didn't know
Jacqueline
that.
take it off.
I didn't know that. I'm not going to take it off because I'm full of coffee. So, and it is 14 ounces. I think I said that. But it's got the lovely Gus and Loretta. And I may have pointed to the wrong one, but you know who's the boy and who's the girl.
Speaking of pigs.
Yeah. There was a pigskin picking, wasn't it?
It was. And for the first time in, I don't know how many times is it? This will be a 3-peat for Kansas City if they win again. Peaches has not picked Kansas City the last 2 times.
Oh, I thought you told me that she had picked. Okay.
She's been wrong 2 years in a row.
So she might be right this year. But we don't want to make anybody mad that's an Eagles fan. You know, this is all in fun and games. I already read some comments yesterday that Jason put that was it a banana?
I gave her a banana this time.
Put that banana on the Kansas City side for her to pick it.
So here's the thing when I set this up. You only get 1 shot.
Yeah.
And you literally got seconds.
Yeah.
Because old girl's coming to get the banana.
She sure is.
So
and whatever else is in the way.
You don't have time to dilly-dally.
Yeah.
You set it and go. And it never is perfect.
No.
It's never perfect. One moves or one does this or one does that or that paper moves or whatever.
You know what I'm glad
what makes
about?
It fun that it's never perfect.
I'm glad that you don't involve me in this because it would make me nervous. Just trying to set it up and you know, make sure she don't eat the paper.
Yep.
And yeah, I'm glad you don't involve me.
Now, out of all the years she's been doing this, I think our first one was either 2016, something like that. She did pick Kansas City one time. This was, I think they played the Rams.
It's like Kansas City plays every year.
Yeah, they're the Patriots now.
Oh, okay.
You know, the Patriots used to play every year. Now it's Kansas City. So, yeah. So Peaches picked Kansas City for the first time in 3 years. And we'll see
if the best pig wins. She's the best pig. You can't deny that. I don't know about Kansas City being the best team. I ain't going to go there.
Yeah.
But Peaches is the best pig.
It's funny. I've had people say she always goes to her right. Every time she always goes to her right. So I always put the team that I want to win on the right-hand side. I'm like, how many people watch this thing and break it down or analyze it that closely?
I'm going to take Roy up on that. He said he's betting $1,000 on Peaches pig.
But
Peaches said buy her $1,000 worth of bananas.
This time she went to the left. But I don't know. She always goes. I have no idea. I'm trying to think back now. But
you're gonna have to make up a video of all of her pickings and see if there's any kind of synchronization.
Oh man, that'd be a lot of work. She's done a lot of them.
She has.
She has done a lot of them.
And y'all, I'm gonna tell you something. She didn't want to go up last night.
She did not.
We were outside at dark and about to walk home from the barn, and that young lady was still outside trotting around. And she was interested in what Jason was doing. Jason was messing around on the other side of her fence, and she was just standing there staring at him. And I said, Peaches, it is time to go to bed. And she didn't listen to me. We had to go out there and physically shoo her to the barn and Jason was like, well, maybe we ought to just leave them out. And I said, I'm not leaving them out. I can't do that. I don't even want to say that. I was going to say nothing ever happens.
Yeah.
But as soon as we left somebody out because they didn't want to go up, something would happen.
Yeah, that's right.
So Peaches went up and she slept in her stall. She's up and at 'em this morning. She's already had her breakfast. How old is Peaches? Isn't she 11?
No, she's not 11 yet.
She's 10.
She's either 10 going on 11 or she's 9 going on 10. I can't quite remember, but one of those. Somewhere around. She's around the 10-year range. And
she seems like she's in very good shape. She's more active than maybe Peaches picks the loser of the Super Bowl.
So, but she's on a streak. I can tell you that.
Sarah, that was funny.
At one time, she was on a hot streak. I mean, she had gotten Oh gosh, y'all, it was crazy. 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 6 or something.
And there was a talk show, I'm not going to say which one it was, that was showing animals that picked things correctly, not necessarily the Super Bowl, but like the World Series and whatnot. And Jason was saying at that time, because she had done so many correctly, wouldn't it be something if Peaches made the so-and-so show?
Yep.
And I'd like to see Peaches get on a plane and go,
Oh gosh,
go to wherever. Well, let's just
it better
use
be
New
a
York.
private jet.
It better be with bananas, with an all-you-can-eat banana buffet.
Yeah.
She don't care what it is. She'll eat anything.
Oh my goodness.
But she's very active for her age, and I hope that gives her longevity. Of course, none of us are guaranteed another day, but she seems very healthy, and she looks good.
Does.
Yeah, she looks really good. Yep. I was analyzing her figure yesterday, thinking, Peaches, what do you do? I mean, I kind of work on myself because you are looking good, girl.
Yeah, she does. She does. She looks good. And I will say this: yesterday's video was a lot of fun.
Yeah, if y'all didn't see it, I don't watch the videos. I've told y'all that time and time again, but Jason has showed me some funnies out of that video, and I must say that I laughed out loud. So I bet you will too. If you need a little cheer up and you didn't watch that video yesterday, saw some people saying, who did Peaches pick? So that means they didn't watch it.
They didn't see it.
If you didn't watch it and you got a little time today, maybe check that out because it was a good one.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. It is it's the latest one, but it was we surprised the entire farm was the name of the video. So
we did.
Had lots of surprises in that video.
Hey, Kayla, how are you doing this morning? And I must say that I made a big mistake last night.
What's that?
So if you saw yesterday's video, we opened the gate up to where all 3 pastures go into the same one, meaning goats, donkeys, cows, geese, and emus are all together. Well, I shut the gate last night because I didn't want Jesse and Honey going into the big pasture last night. I wanted them to be in the smaller enclosure where the stalls were so they could lay down if they chose to. Well, this morning I saw Goldie strutting around and I was like, where is Nugget? My immediate thought was he was sitting on eggs.
Sitting on eggs.
And I said, I'm going to get that boy. And I went on to the barn and I realized that I had shut him up in the small pasture last night. He was looking at me like, his neck all stretched out. I don't know why I got in here. And I don't know how I locked him up and didn't see him. Holly. He must have been in the wooded area. So all I can figure.
Had to have been.
But yeah, he was happy to come out and be reunited with Goldie. And
oh my goodness.
It didn't much matter. All they do at night is sleep anyway. They're back together. Okay, so I believe, is that Tammy? Tammy said she found her American button maker. Let me tell y'all something. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so I went to Louisiana and I purchased what was advertised as a 3-in-1 button maker and a tote full of stuff. And this nice lady sold it to me, and Mary Carl and I stayed in a hotel, did some birding. We got it out in the hotel, but I didn't know what I was looking at. So she had a bunch of supplies in there. She did not buy this now. She bought it and sold it. Had a lot of supplies in there for making the 3-inch mirrors, like I showed y'all on one of the lives. And so Mary Carl and I, we just looked at it and saw what all was in there, packed it back up, came home. Well, Jason and I got it out and we experimented with how hard it was going to be to do it. And so sat it on the bar. Jason crimped it. It was easy. I said, you know what? I can make these and I can potentially offer them to you guys as personalized. Somebody wants to see my shirt. It's Gus and Loretta. Make them for you guys as magnets, possibly, to put them on, stuff. And all I need is I asked you guys what size you wanted. So it ended up being 2.5-inch stuff that I bought. I bought Mary Carl's stuff to make the 1 3/4 because that's what she wants to make as pins. And y'all, let me tell you, the shipping on this stuff was $56 from Texas. I didn't squabble. I got it.
Because it's heavy.
Because it's heavy.
Yeah.
It's a lot of little parts.
It's heavy.
And I almost didn't order it. And I said, I've already told all these nice people I was going to make these magnets, and I'm going to make them. And it might take me a long time to sell them and to make them, but I'm going to get them. So I ordered a pretty big quantity. Got the stuff here. We were so excited. Mary Carl and I got the machine out. And Mary Carl said, Mama, this isn't going to work. And I said, why not? And she said, because the hole's too big. And Jason said, well, let's get the adapters. So he goes and he looks in the tote full of stuff, and there is no adapter. And I said, Jason, there is nothing else. This is the only machine. And he said, there's got to be something else, because Brooke, this isn't going to work. It's only going to make those big ones.
Yeah, I thought you could swap the dies out.
And I said, well, that's it. That's it. I thought that this one machine made all of them because it said 3-in-1 button machine. And he said, no, you got to have the dies that go in it to make the additional buttons. And I said, well, they don't offer additional sizes. You have to buy an additional machine. So I looked, my marketplace listing, she had taken it down. That's a done deal. Wasn't going to reach out to her and tell her anything anyway. But I realized that you have to buy a whole nother machine.
For different sizes.
Yep. And here I have bought all these 2.5 size things, and Mary Carl all these 1 3/4. That means I got to have 2 more machines, right? I said, oh my gosh. So I pouted for an entire week. I didn't tell y'all about it. Jason told me to just go on and order what I needed because I'd already invested in all the materials. And so finally this week, this has been 2 weeks ago that I've been pouting. I sat down and I decided I was just going to order both of those machines. And I did. And I said, I can't disappoint Mary Carl because I've already ordered all the materials. Got an email yesterday after I placed the order, and it says that the 1 3/4 and the 2.5-inch button making machines are on back order for 12 weeks. For 12 weeks.
Oh, me.
And it said, if you choose to not wait, we will refund your money. And I had already looked on Marketplace to see if I could find a better deal on the machines without buying it brand new, because it's all metal. There's nothing that can happen to it. And sure enough, they're on Marketplace, and they're only the $25 cheaper than what I could buy a new one for. So I decided I'd just buy a new one if it's, I'm not saving but $25. And I know why now, because you can't get it because it's on back order. Yeah. So needless to say, my order's in. I've got to figure out what I'm going to do. I've looked on eBay too, Susie. I can't find anything that makes it worthwhile for me to go ahead and purchase. If any of you guys have one that you want to sell, I want it to be the American Button Maker machine because I bought all that stuff. I bought all that brand. Send me an email if you got one that you want to sell, 1 3/4 or 2.5. And I must say that I think the lady thought that it made all 3 sizes.
Yeah, I don't think she tried to scam anybody. She let Brooke know that, she didn't know anything about it.
She didn't know anything about it. And it was my stupidity that didn't look at all the pieces.
Yeah.
I just thought it was a 3-in-1. And actually, when it says 3-in-1, it's 3 different machines.
Yeah, you get 3 machines. So.
You buy 3 machines.
Yep.
So, yeah, I would have not I'm not saying I wouldn't have purchased from the lady, but I probably wouldn't have paid what I paid. And I also probably wouldn't have mentioned to you guys that I was going to make the magnets. But now right. I'm so deep into it that I got to figure it out. I'm going to keep my order on there unless somebody tells me they got one for sale that's a good deal. I just
well, as fast as time goes, 12 weeks will be just like that.
It will. And then I'll have decided I don't want to make them. But Jason was so, don't worry about it, Brooke. Life's too short to be hanging your head. And I pouted all day and was mad at myself. And just, it is what it is.
That's right.
It's over. It's done.
That's the thing, though, about Facebook Marketplace or thrifting or buying something used. 80% of the time or 90% of the time, you get a good deal.
Yeah.
But every now and then you're gonna get burned.
I tell you what, I was looking this morning, that's my thing to do when I first wake up before I get moving is I look at Marketplace.
Yep.
And I must say, today, I bet you 75% of what I saw was scams. And I reported every one
Every
I
one
saw.
of them.
Every one I saw. If they say delivery or deposit or some of them were selling birds. They were selling African grays. They were selling macaws.
Which you can't sell
Which
birds.
you can't sell birds.
Yeah,
but besides the fact, it was a scam. They were selling them for like $200.
Mm-hmm.
And people think, I'm getting a good deal. I'm going to go get this macaw for $200. What is it?
Pocket Fields Little Homestead said button making is addictive.
Well, I hope it is.
And
I really
she has
do.
5 of them now.
Oh, my goodness. So if that's the case, then, I may be just getting started.
That's right.
I'm going to have 3. I'm going to have 3. Have I checked Hobby Lobby? Well, I want a American button maker. And they're not sold in stores. It's only sold through their website. Okay, we're quiet.
I was going to give everybody an update on the tractor. I got a ton of good feedback, as always, on the tractor. Got it running there for a minute, but it wasn't running good. You couldn't tell on the video that it wasn't running good, but it was not running good. And I just knew that I had it out of time. And the easiest way to do that is when you take the distributor off, it goes back on a certain way. But you can flip it the opposite way and it'll still go back on. And if you do that, it gets out of time. And I thought that's what I had done. And then, of course, when I put it back on there, it wouldn't stay. And I had a lot of feedback on that. A lot of, not a lot, but I had a couple of people saying, make sure I didn't have the ring that holds the plate, the plate that the points, I think it's called a points plate, wasn't on upside down. And I checked that before I put it on there. And I thought, well, maybe the what I watched was wrong. So I went back and checked, and I didn't have it on upside down. And there were some other things. So I took it off yesterday and looked again, and because I got some feedback. And so all I basically did was order that little cheap ring, just a little snap ring, and a gasket kit. And the gasket kit's not here yet.
I think it said Tuesday.
Because I did not know, because mine didn't have it.
Oh, okay.
My distributor didn't have any gaskets on it, so I didn't know it had gaskets there. So it needed the gasket. So I ordered those. Yesterday, I had a guy that sent me an email the day prior and told me to check the shaft in the distributor and see if I had any slack in it. So yesterday I looked, when I took it off, I looked, and lo and behold, it'll wiggle like this.
And what's that mean?
So that means that maybe my shaft, distributor shaft in there is warped. So I went and looked. So get this. So I went and looked on my place where I buy my tractor parts from, and I could buy a new shaft for, it was like $120. Whole new distributor was $80.
Huh? With the shaft?
With the shaft.
That doesn't make sense.
Did not make sense at all. So I went ahead and ordered the distributor.
Oh, it's probably like me. It's probably not that.
I read the description like 10 times because it made 0 sense to me.
Yeah, that's how they do, Jason. You get it here and it's not going to have that shaft.
So we'll see.
If I ordered it, that would be the case anyway.
So worst case scenario, I got an extra set of gaskets and an extra snap ring, which was not that much money. So
I tell you,
so hopefully this will get me going here. And I ordered a gasket kit for the carburetor because I got a feeling I'm going to take the carburetor back apart and clean it all out and put it back together.
And you named the tractor
Big Joe.
Yes,
after Granddaddy.
That's right. Granddaddy was always called Big Joe. I always called him Granddaddy.
Always called him Granddaddy.
But Ashley called him Big Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking about people that were close to him, and just depending on who you were and what relationship you had as to what you called him. But everybody that was just a friend of his called him Big Joe.
Yep, because so we had 3 Joes in the family. My granddaddy was Joe William, my daddy is Joe William, and my brother's Joe William. So we had, so I guess to distinguish everybody, we had Big Joe. My daddy was Little Joe, And like I said in the video, I guess Tiny Joe didn't sound very good, so they called my brother Joey. And I got Jason. And a little fun fact is that my family, my mom, dad, me, and my brother, we're all J's. So it's Joe, Gene, Joey, and Jason.
And your first nephew was Jake.
Was Jake.
So there's the J's.
Another J.
And it's quite confusing because his mama says Jake or his mama says Joey, and it's never the right name. But that's understandable.
Especially when you was younger, get in trouble. All of them would come out their mouth.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
Well, Jake wasn't here yet.
Until they finally got it right.
Joe, Jake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was some other stuff I needed. Had the wrong radiator cap on it, so I got the right radiator cap for it. It came in. The gas cap was bad. It would just flop and wiggle, so I got a new gas cap. So she's going to be ready. She's going to be ready.
Well,
he.
Yeah, it's no longer a she.
Once I get it running, I'm going to get me some letters that
match Big Joe?
That try to match the cursive writing of the Ford.
Well, just get somebody to paint it.
Oh, I could do that too.
Jay could do it.
I bet he could.
I bet he could. Jay's our book editor, author. He could certainly do that, I bet.
Big Joe.
You kind of have, well, I say that. I mean, he can draw really well. I don't know how his penmanship is because this is going to be writing. So we'll have to ask Jay about that.
That's right.
We're going to see him in a little bit anyway. Conversation will be had as to if he can write in cursive and make it look good.
Maybe so. And I got the Ford decal that goes with it.
Look, Zoe said, I wonder if somebody can make you those letters.
Well, I thought about that already.
Meaning her.
I know it. I thought about that. And so that I could do that too.
Yeah, and we won't even have to come up with a script. She can send it to us and show us, and we just smash the thumbs up. You know, won't have to tell him how we want it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'll show her a picture of the Ford logo because it's different back in them days. It's in a cursive Ford. And if they can get something close to that, that'd be great.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, Zoe, we're going to take you up on that.
Big Joe.
Yes. I just thought of something when I saw somebody asking how Catherine's little goats were doing. So Catherine had a amazing, I'm the wordsmith here. She had an amazing happen on, let's see, what day was it? Wednesday. On Wednesday. If y'all did not see Catherine at G&G Farms video on Thursday, go watch it. She had a set of 2 twins born, and then after those were born, she had another set of twins born. So she had 4 babies born on the same day. And that video, she's got a warning that could be graphic for some. It's simply the birth of goats, and she put that because she didn't want anybody getting upset seeing, something they may not want to. But y'all, I'm gonna tell you, I don't watch videos, but I watched that video, and what I tell you,
you thought it was awesome.
I thought she did an amazing job, especially delivering those babies, much less videoing it. When you video something, it is so hard to continue focusing on what you're doing because you're videoing too. You got to move the camera, and she did an amazing job. So I am very proud of Catherine's accomplishments as a I can't think of the correct name. She's not a film
videographer.
As a videographer, as well as a goat mama. That was complicated. But y'all, she did it. She really did. She birthed those babies and was right there with them, and it was just amazing. A midwife, yeah.
Midwife.
Catherine was a good midwife, and her skills come in very handy as a nurse when it comes to delivering babies.
She's cool as a cucumber.
She is. She made it look, I mean,
cooler than the underside of your pillow.
Well, I tell you, when we have babies born, it don't go that smooth. We're kind of, nervous. She just doesn't. She needs to deliver goat babies for a living.
She could be a goat midwife.
She could.
Yeah.
She I recently had a friend reach out to me, and she asked me about buying 2 bred nannies, and she's never had goats before. And she asked me what I thought, and I said, "Look, I absolutely will tell you my honest opinion, and that is no.
No, not for your first goats.
Anything can go wrong when a goat has babies, or anything has babies, but goats for sure. You kind of need to be there when they have the babies. And Zoe, you can tell them for sure. Zoe just recently had an issue where she had to call a vet because a baby was stuck, and you got to know what to do in that kind of situation. Not the individual, because Zoe couldn't do anything else. Right. It was all on the vet from that point forward. But yeah, Catherine, she's got it going on. She just needs to be on call and travel around the United States delivering goats. Hopefully they'll be out by the time she gets there, but if they aren't, she can help.
Oh, me.
I'll be the driver.
You do that.
I'll drive her.
Talking about Nick and Zoe, or Zoe and Nick. Nick sent me a cool video yesterday.
Okay.
Nick's truck.
Oh, yeah. He did send you a cool video.
Turned 300,000 miles. Still rolling.
Still rolling. I must say, that's quite an accomplishment, Nick.
Man, what you talking about?
That is quite an accomplishment. So, yeah. And he saw it rolling over.
He saw it rolling. He sent me a video of it rolling over.
My first thought was when Jason told me he sent him a video of it rolling over, is not to knock Jason at all, but that you would never have a clue that mileage was rolling over.
Yeah, I probably would.
When it got to about 310,000, you might say, "Oh, I hit 300,000." But Nick was absolutely on point by knowing he was fixing to roll over to that 300,000 mark, and that's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yep.
Yeah, Nick said he knew that only Jason could truly appreciate that. And he did.
And I did. Trust me.
Yeah, he doesn't share everything with me. He forgets, to tell me. But that was important. That was an important part.
That's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome.
And our little baby emu.
Yes.
Let's talk about him.
Let's talk about little man.
Oh my goodness, y'all. He is so full of it. If you
more
saw,
and more every day.
If you saw my video from Thursday, you saw that Matilda is no longer sleeping in the stall at night. Mm-hmm. And that has nothing to do with his arrival. It actually happened before we got him. And I had not cleaned out the stall yet because I thought, if the temperatures drop back down, I might have to put her back in. But it was becoming I don't know why we continue to do it. I really don't. Why we continue to put her in the stall.
Feeding wise. It was just
yeah, I guess so.
The feeding at night's the main thing.
Well, when you got sick, it was an eye opener to me. Is I can't continue to shovel this stall out every single, because she urinates. And when she urinates, it's not like it's 14 ounces. It's like it's 144 ounces. That all goes everywhere. And I have to get that up every single day.
Yeah, you have to get the big boy shovel out when that happens.
And it's every day. Mm-hmm. And multiple times, possibly. So, she's moved outside, and little man has access to both of those stalls. And yesterday we were at Pedals from the Past. My Jason was talking to Jason that owns Pedals from the Past. Mary Carl and I were walking around. And I said, let me look and see what Emu's doing. So Mary Carl's beside me, and I pull up the camera so I can see what he's doing. And I said, he's running. He's just running. And I look up, and Mary Carl's long gone. He could care less what he was doing. And I was so, wanting to see what he was doing, because it's just so funny to me to watch him go back and forth and enjoy exercising his legs.
We
he's running.
We're getting close to getting the name, and we'll let you probably in the next video.
Probably so. Yeah. There he goes. Oh, he's in the other stall right now.
Yeah, he's just walking around.
He's just walking around. And there he goes. Oh my goodness, he's running right now, y'all.
Show it to him.
Well, you might or might not see him. I don't know if he will or not. Right now, he's not there. But he might zoom by in a minute. He's there. I promise. There he is. He's under the light area. You can see the silkies right there.
Oh, me.
And he was just running from stall to stall. But we got a new light. You can see it above his head.
There he goes.
Into the other stall. And I think that's good for him to be able to stretch his legs and have a lot of space. But the new light is a lot safer than just a regular old heat light. I don't like using those, but at the time, what do you call those things, Jason? Brooder heater?
Yes. Our chick
Y'all,
brooder heater.
I had 2 of them. And I was using it for Snow White when she was a little bit under the weather. And I also used it for the Silky Chicks. They both quit working. They both quit working. And that's what I was planning on using with him. And so when I got him home, I went and grabbed one of the heat plates. Is that what you would call it? That I had stored away and plugged it in. It would not work. And so I immediately went and got the second one. Would not work. Googled it. Said it may be a fuse. I opened the on-off switch up to think it may be a fuse in there. There's no fuse.
Nope.
And it made me just sick to my stomach to know it wasn't going to work. I'm not giving up yet. There may be something else I can do.
It can't be on the plate side.
It can't be that much to trying to fix it.
Unless the element, something happened with it. So I'm not even figure.
But how did both of them go out?
I don't know.
So we had plenty of heat lights down at the barn, and we grabbed one of those and had the cage on it to, in case the bulb did bust, it would help him from getting injured. Right. But the new one, we'll show it to y'all in the next video. It is it's really good. It's made by Premier One. It has a nice cage on it, so nothing can happen if it were to. It prevents fires and just a lot safer.
It is a lot safer.
A lot safer.
And Premier One is the same company that we use the movable fencing.
The net fencing.
Around the chickens and such.
Yes. Yeah. It's what Milligan Farm used, that light. And when I saw it, I said, I got to have one of those. Right. I couldn't find it anywhere local. And so I ordered it direct from Premier One. And it's nothing to do with the plug.
So we tried another plug.
We tried different plugs. It has nothing to do with the plug. Matter of fact, that same plug is what the heat light's plugged into. So it's nothing to do with
the new one, the Premier One.
Right. Yep. But I do like this new light, and I actually ordered a couple of them for us in case I need, I may need another one. I may need another light if we have more cold weather. Fingers crossed we don't.
We don't. We're going to, though. This is too early.
Yeah. Did I move the chickens? I did, because I moved them out of the stall where the emu is, but we'll show y'all where we moved them. Everybody's together now.
I was in my last video.
Okay.
It was in the last video.
All the silkies are together now. Yep. In with Snow White. She's all happy. She seems like the more the merrier. Yeah. It's like she could care less if it's roosters. They don't bother her. And she's the dominant one, we learned. When new food is poured out, of course, they like certain things in that hen house reserve. And she will tell them, look, I'm first. I'm getting what I want out of here, and then y'all can come eat. And with her not having good vision, I am glad that she can stand up for herself and, tell them to back off. Of course, everybody's got an opportunity to eat. There's 2 feeders in there, and she can fend for herself.
Handle her own.
Yeah, and I'm happy.
Oh, Higher Ground Farm mentioned something.
What's that?
Talking about the electric poultry netting that we move around. That stuff works great.
It does.
Except one thing.
Yeah.
And it don't matter how many times you've done it and how you even think about it when you go inside that fencing.
What's on my shirt? Gus and Loretta.
You, at some point, at least once a week, you're going to get your foot caught in.
And here's the thing, Jason, is they make a gate. They make a gate for it.
They do.
There was a time when, just say we were at the old farm and my mama had to do something. And she would say, "Do I have to go in that net fencing?" And we'd be like, "Yeah, I can't go in that net fencing," because she knows what's going to happen. You're going to get tangled up. And it happens to us, much less somebody that's,
I don't know how the gate works. Do you have to stick it in the ground every time?
I don't know.
But I get it in the
Jacqueline or Zach said they always get their feet caught.
Every time. Hey, and the worst is when you got,
your hands full of eggs.
41 eggs.
Yeah. And they 40 out of 41 break. That's $100,000 these days.
That's the truth. Yeah, but if you own that fence and you know exactly what you're talking about, your foot's gonna catch that top loop at some point.
And you're gonna go forward. You're gonna go for a tumble.
At some point, it's gonna
happen. Yeah, it happens. It does happen, and it's easy to do. I want to know how that gate works too, because
I've seen it, but I just thought it was just a spot where you just take it down and walk in it and have to take it back up. But
I thought
you had to stab it in the ground. I thought, our hard ground, stabbing it in the ground all the time. We'll have to look at it and see.
Some people were saying that we should fence in around the dam where we were wanting the goats to eat that area.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all, it ain't possible. The stakes on that thing, they have to go, it's probably 4-inch stakes. Mm-hmm. While they don't have to go 4 inches in the ground, they got to go a good little ways, or else that fence is not going to hold up. There's no way possible with that hard ground.
And those stakes are steel, and they're at least as big around as my pinky. And
so
I got some that, because it's a double stake, so it looks like this.
And you can buy the single or the double.
Don't buy the single, because it's not worth it.
It's not worth it.
And it's not that much more. I don't even know why they make the single. You're not saving. It's not like you're saving $100 between the two. It's not that much at all. It's like $20 difference. The single stake is not worth the savings whatsoever. So the double stake is like this, and you can stick your foot on top of it and press it in the ground. The single stake is all, your arm strength.
And in our ground, for sure. If you lived somewhere where there's soft ground, it might be that you could use the.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. If you got soft ground, and this has just been our experience, and you use the single stake, then it'll tend to lean and pull out of the soft ground. As the double stake it's a lot sturdier in the ground. And again, it's not that much, or used to not be that much difference in price between the single and the double. But the double one, you stick your foot on it, mash in the ground. We got some stakes that are supposed to look like this, but look like this because the ground, or it looks like this because our hard ground, when I go to step on it and put it in the ground, it'll go whoop, like that right there.
It's especially if it hasn't rained, it's a dead of summer, and we go to move the chickens, y'all. It is such a chore to try to get those, even if it is double stakes, try to get them in the ground.
The good thing is, though, if you can get in the ground just a little bit,
you use a sledgehammer.
You can take a sledgehammer and hit on top of the double stake, and it will go down some more.
But you got to get it in first. Yeah. And we got so many rocks till, if you hit one of those rocks, that stake's going to go sideways. I saw where a 18-wheeler load of eggs, the truck was stolen, and they estimated it to be like 60,000 eggs. What in the world is somebody going to do with that many eggs? And why would they steal the truck?
Let me see.
I don't remember if that's what it was or not. 60,000? I shared the post to somebody, so let me see real quick. Y'all probably know more about it than I do.
They said here it is. Estimated value of $100,000 worth of eggs.
100,000.
Oh, 100,000 eggs.
Valued at more than $40,000 from a distribution trailer in South Central Pennsylvania. Now, did they steal the eggs, or did they steal the whole truck? I don't know. A theft was reported Saturday night. This was this past Saturday night of 100,000 organic eggs worth more than $40,000 from a distribution trailer in South Central Pennsylvania. So I don't know if they stole the whole trailer or just the eggs, but you have to imagine that truck was refrigerated because they were washed eggs.
That is not retail price either.
No,
because that would only be $5 a dozen.
Yeah, that ain't today's retail price.
No, especially for organic too.
Yeah.
That's probably $7-8 a dozen eggs right there.
Are you kidding me? That's a regular dozen now.
Somebody said that eggs in California were $8 to $10 a dozen.
Oh, they're $7 here.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Regular eggs, not organic. Oh my goodness.
I'm thinking that's probably around $75,000 worth of eggs.
I don't know what in the world they could have done with them.
And that's not street value. You know what I'm what street value is.
They might have traded them for a car. A new car. Boy, I tell you.
I don't know what street value was on them. I have no idea.
$12.40 for a dozen organic eggs in North Carolina. It's different everywhere, but I tell y'all, I don't see an end in sight for this. I think that it's just gonna keep on keeping on
for
until
eggs. The $8 for cage free in North Carolina.
And I also think that chickens are going to be crazy again this year.
Yeah,
chicks, I should say.
Everybody's going to buy chicks.
Because they're going to say, "Oh, I'm going to rush out and get me some chickens so I can have my own eggs." And then they're going to find out real quick that those sex chickens that were supposed to be pullets, there's a couple of roosters in there, and their neighborhood won't let them have roosters. So then it's going to be flooded trying to get rid of them.
Also, what happened is you have a lot of newbies that don't know anything about raising chickens and get them and for eggs, and then they quickly realize I'm not going to get eggs for 6-7 months.
That's right. And they're thinking, I got to feed these things and take care of them for 5 months before I get the first egg.
And then they realize that feeding and taking care of them and cleaning them, everybody, a lot of them end up,
caving.
Yeah. And going back to buying eggs.
But I don't recommend anybody buying full-grown chickens from somebody that you don't know.
That you don't know.
Because you can get into some, and I'm not talking about bird flu, but some diseases and sicknesses and different.
They're giving you their problems, or they got older chickens that are not laying well anymore. So yeah, just if you buy a full-grown hen,
beware.
Just beware and find somebody that you can know and trust before you do that.
And the bird flu is infecting flocks by wild birds.
Yes.
Not chicken to chicken. Yes, if it gets in the flock, it's going chicken to chicken. But it's not because I have chickens and Catherine has chickens down the road. Her flock's not infecting my flock necessarily. It's wild birds.
Mm-hmm. Songbirds or waterfowl or whatever. So.
Yeah, yep. More so waterfowl, I would say.
Yeah, I think waterfowl is one of the main carriers in it.
We go to Harrison Lake in Maplesville from time to time, so Mary Carl can take pictures. And I don't know if it was this time last year or the year before, but bird flu was becoming, more prevalent. And Jacqueline reached out to me at Head Family Farm, and she said, "I know that y'all are at Harrison Lake a lot, walking around." And she said, "I would definitely wear a pair of shoes that I would not walk around on your farm because that could transmit it. So, either have a pan with bleach in it that you can take care of your shoes before you come back here, or, have a separate set."
Right.
Because it can easily transmit from us walking around there where those birds are probably not affected. They're not going to have symptoms, but they're carriers.
Yeah.
And people think you're just going to see a flock of ducks dead. It doesn't work like that. Yes, when chickens are infected, they can drop like that. But wild birds can be carriers. Pigeons they never show any symptoms. They can be carriers, but they don't get it. So.
Hey, Shannon, she said, "What do you do about mites?" She bought some chickens from someone and they both have mites. You got two options, in my opinion, for an immediate, right off the bat, to treat them. I would use 7 Dust. Now, I know some people out there that are not going to agree with me on that, but that's going to right there take care of your chickens right there, and then you don't have to worry about it.
Well, you don't have to worry about it, but then
you got to repeat.
You got to repeat because those eggs are going to hatch again in 7 to 10 days. So just know that one treatment's not going to work. You're going to have to repeat the treatment because eggs are going to hatch, and it's going to be a revolving cycle unless you have something in play to kill the eggs when they do hatch.
Right. So when we have a situation like that, if it's an infestation or they're suffering, we will go ahead and dust them.
And you can do ivermectin too.
That's the second one. But it'll take a little bit longer to work. But for something instant to give them relief, that'll do it.
It will. It will.
Just be sure to wear gloves and a mask.
That's right.
Yep.
And it's safe for the chickens. However, a lot of people don't want to use that method.
And like I said, we only use it if it's you need to.
And we have not had to do that since we've been at this farm.
Right.
But early on, we bought some chickens from some people and introduced some things that we wish, we had had.
Mm-hmm.
We had a little bit more experience under our belt before we went out and bought chickens from somebody that we didn't know how well they were cared for. And mites and lice can happen. I mean, you can bring it in straw or hay. But mites and lice on chickens cannot transfer to other animals.
Yeah, there's difference. Yeah.
They'll get on you, but they're not gonna they're species specific.
Right.
If that makes sense.
And if I were you, I don't know how bad it is. I would possibly dust where they're sleeping too.
Oh, sure.
Where they're hanging out and sleeping at night, and then repeat it again in just 10 days. Isn't that right?
I think it's 7 to 10 days.
7 to 10 days. And that should take care of it for you.
Right.
Yeah.
But we had, who was it? We had bought a goat one time early on, and that goat had lice.
It did.
And we ended up getting rid of it. But the goat lice is not going to transfer to chickens. Chicken lice is not going to transfer to goats. It's species specific. So you don't have to worry about cross-contamination. You just treat that one animal that has it.
And I'm sure there's other options out there. So you can do your research on that too as well.
That's just our experience.
That's just our experience. And it makes it easy.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And that stuff's easy to find, and you don't have to worry about mixing anything like that. It's pretty easy,
So I have seen a lot of people say, and I actually went and looked and tried to find out if Lester's son and Megan, or no, Flip-Flop Farmer, are they getting an emu from Milligan Farms? A lot of you said that they're getting a white emu from Milligan Farms, and I could not find any video or information. That I may have put it out after I started looking. But are they getting the white emu from, or did they already get it?
Yes.
Did they get it already? That little white one, I must say, it's precious. They got it. Okay. They got it today.
Awesome.
Yay. They did last night. Okay. Well, that little emu was very special to Milligan Farms. She was very precious because she had a little black dot on the back of her neck. And when we went and looked at them the first time, of course, she did not know the sex of them. We went to look, we went to talk, and that one was her favorite. If she had to pick one, she would have said that one. So when she got the DNA back, she reached out to me and said, "Look, I've got a male white emu." And I said, "Oh my goodness, why are you doing this to me?" I said, "Is it the one with the black spot on the back of the neck?" She said, "Of course not," because she knew that if I did get one, I was going to have a male, and that was her favorite. So I'm glad they got it. I am glad. She's Milligan Farm. PETA is, if y'all have followed along, you know how knowledgeable she is, and she's full of information. And I'm glad that
Yeah, me too.
I'm glad they got her.
Me too. Somebody asked about DE instead of 7 Dust or whatever brand you want to get. That's kind of trademarked. The thing about DE is, if you don't know what DE is, it's little fossils that are shaped, and it causes the insect to get cut on it. But it's not good for your chickens to breathe that in because it could damage their lungs. And so we kind of stay away from DE and it's not as instant as people think too.
Right.
It's not as instant. It's kind of, and our experience with it in the past is, it's about 60-40, 40% it worked okay, and 60% it didn't work at all.
That's right.
So we've never had any great luck with using DE. Now somebody else may have, but us, we haven't. But
And it wouldn't be used as a treatment, I don't think. I mean, once you've
it
got
could be a preventative
Yeah.
more so. Once you get an infestation,
you got to do
you're
something
gonna have
about
to
it
do
right
something
then.
right then. Yeah.
They said Made by Megan is where you would go to see the actual emu rather than Flip Flop Farmer. So that's what I was doing wrong.
I got you.
I'm going to have to check that out. And it was a 12-hour trip for them each way to go get the baby emu.
Wow.
I'm so happy they got it. I
Yep,
think I may have said that.
DE has known to cause cancer in people too. Somebody said that. That is correct.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to breathe that stuff in without a mask on.
To me, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but to me, DE came about and it kind of got a good rap because it was, natural and people were using it. I don't know. To me, it got kind of like a false sense of security, and they were saying all the good about it, but not the bad about it.
Yes, DE is Diatomaceous earth.
Yeah.
Once it gets wet, it doesn't
work anymore. Yeah, it just
it does
work.
not work. So you have to imagine that if you're using it for parasites and a chicken ingests it, well, what happens when something ingests something? It gets wet, right? So how is that going to work on internal parasites?
Yeah,
it might work on external, but it's not going to work on internal because it's not. When it gets wet, it's proven to not work anymore.
But if it dries out, it's back again. But once it gets wet, it doesn't work. So I don't know. We've never had great success with it, and then the bad always outweighed the good for us in it too. So
and everybody's different.
That's right.
We are sharing our experience, and so
always do what works for you.
That's right.
Yeah.
In our opinion, it's not worth the money, and it's not effective. Yeah, it probably would be great for slugs and snails, Bill.
Oh yeah,
I could see where that would be perfect.
Absolutely.
So depending on your situation, you have to imagine that it's not gonna kill any kind of internal parasites. I feel like that's something that's maybe a myth. But people swear by it. So it just depends on who you are and what you believe.
That's right. Since it is February, this is time for us. So if you haven't done it yet, start looking at getting your seeds. If you're we're in zone 8. So I guess 7 is probably pretty close to start looking at getting your seeds. I just wanted to put that out there that garden seeds for your spring and summer garden, start looking at it. I got my Paul subscription box coming, and I want to see, because it's like a surprise. I want to see what seeds I get in it, and then if I want to do a little extra, I'm gonna order some extra as well. So just put that on your calendar. Now's the time to start looking at your seeds for your summer and spring and summer gardens.
And we have not talked about this, Jason, but I want to plant corn. And I don't care. I mean, yes, I want us to have some to eat, but I also think it would be good for the animals. How well would a chicken like it if we just threw a fresh,
ear corn out there?
Yeah, they would love it. It'd be a special treat. It wouldn't cost us that much to grow it. We could preserve all that we could eat, put it up, and then have extra for the animals. So I think we ought to plant a good bit of corn.
Then now, what kind of corn we wanting to plant now? So we can plant field corn, which would be perfect for the animals.
No, I want to plant something we like.
We can do sweet corn.
I think sweet corn.
Okay.
And I need to know.
Or we could do both, I reckon.
Did Catherine plant the peaches and cream corn last year, or the sweet corn?
Well, that's just sweet corn. Peaches and cream.
I mean, which variety?
Silver Queen.
Yeah.
That's the 2 popular ones here, Silver Queen and Peaches and Cream. That's your 2 popular ones here in the South.
She did very well with her corn last year. And
we've done well with both of those.
So I want
in the past.
I want to plant some corn and she planted peaches and cream. the gym corn. Is that what it's called?
Mm-hmm.
I love the way that looks. I
That
think
is
it's beautiful.
and that's a field corn.
But it's not going to be necessarily something we like to eat, is it?
You use it to make grits or cornmeal out of, or you can use it to, for animal feed as well. That's your Jimmy Red.
So if I wanted to grind my own grits,
you would grow a field corn.
Do you remember the gentleman that we bought the grits from, or the corn from, I should say?
Mm-hmm. Yes, and he ground his own.
What did he use to get it off the cob? Because he let it dry first.
They make a shucker. Gosh, I wish I knew where it was. Granddaddy had one that was antique that would do it. But I have no idea where that is, and it's probably gone. To be honest with you.
Yeah, because his house has been cleaned out, and oh man,
I don't know. The last time I saw it was in the shop, but that was, Brooke, I was
many years ago.
Yeah, probably a teenager.
Oh well.
But dent corn, I call it field corn, but yeah, dent corn.
Silver Queen. I want to do that.
That's what Granddaddy's was.
So I wonder, if we don't put it in a fenced-in area, then we're probably going to have a deer problem.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to put it in one of the beds that we've got prepared. Does the place where the chickens are now, does it need to rest for a period of time before we plant in it? Because of the manure?
Yes.
Okay.
But I got 2 plots ready.
I know, but we got to have tomatoes and stuff like that too.
And then I got...
No, you got 3 ready. There's 3 tarped areas.
There's 2 no, we got 4 plots.
That's true. We got the cover cropped areas.
Yes.
Okay. So we got enough space.
Mm-hmm.
If we plant one of those whole plots in corn, I told Jason the other day when the tariff thing was starting and, a lot of tomatoes come in from Mexico. I said, maybe we ought to plant some extra tomatoes for people to have access to them on our farm stand and, supply to the locals so they can get a good tomato. And Jason said, yep, but I'm going to have some help.
Yeah, I did ask.
And last year, y'all know my health was not good. I was not much help to him at all last summer. Right now, I'm feeling pretty darn good. It seems like medicine's working. I don't go back to the rheumatologist until April. But so far, it seems like my medicine's working. I just hope that sticks. And if it does, then I want to do that. I want to plant enough tomatoes that we can offer to the community. And I'm
not going to plant as many as I did that year before last.
No, we can't do that. And we need to also plant them in succession so we don't have, we
can do that too.
A heap of tomatoes ready at one time. And then, once they're gone, they're gone. We need to kind of schedule it out. But we're getting close to needing to really come up with whatever we want to plant. And y'all are too.
Yes.
No matter where you are. I mean, you got to start thinking about it. No, you're maybe covered in snow and think it's not time to plant, but gotta plan ahead. It'll be here before you know it.
Marge, I hope you get better.
Yeah.
I hope you get better. It's been rough. I do feel I feel like I'm 100% now. I still got just a little cough, but it's almost gone.
It's almost gone. I told him yesterday, I said, you're not coughing anymore. And he said, I am every now and then. So thankful Jason is as far along as he is, but he's still going to have to take care of himself. Even when you feel better, you do too much and you're back to where square one, because he was a very sick man. Very sick man. Is Lester live after us?
I think so.
Okay. Well, we as creators try to not step on each other's toes. We all know when the other one goes live, and I feel like if they're waiting on us, then we've been here long enough. And yes, Susan said yes, Lester's next. So we need to get off, and
we got things to do. Anyways.
We got things to do. I'll have a video tomorrow and everything, providing we are over this mess. I'm not gonna get sick at this point, and we're all good. We'll be back here on Tuesday at 4:00. And hope y'all have a wonderful, wonderful Saturday. Don't forget the cups are offered as singles now.
Mm-hmm.
And then these cute little shirts with Gus and Loretta on them are available as well.
And this is the Valentine's Day stuff.
Yeah, this is and you could wear it anytime. You wouldn't have to just have this for Valentine's.
That's right.
But that was what it was intended for.
That's it.
So, y'all, hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend.
Maybe hope your Super Bowl team wins and don't get mad at Peaches.
Don't get mad at Peaches. She's a good old girl.
Y'all be good.